Good morning, everybody. It's been a couple of weeks. I am so excited to be back here with you guys right now where I feel happy and cozy. Today we're going to paint a special one. So I am painting it white, just the top, just where we're going to put some artwork. I'm going to leave the rest of the natural background to shine because it's beautiful as well. So I am just putting like a primer. It's actually just white paint, white matte paint. And I'm going to put a couple coats of that and let it dry so that we have a nice bright background to work with. Because I'm going to do a blue background, but we're going to be painting a frog prince. Now I'm doing this. You guys might already know the story of the frog prince. There's like a classic fairy tale, and the frog turns into a prince after being kissed. And that's the primary, the primary symbolism. But when I was looking up the meaning of frog prince or frog prince tattoos, is there a meaning behind frog prince tattoos? Because I really didn't know. So when I go to create something, there has to be some meaning to it for me. And can you believe it? When I look up frog prince, frog with a crown, it symbolizes transformation. Often drawing from the fairy tale, it all blah, 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 blah. It also represents a prince in disguise, suggesting hidden potential or a journey of personal growth. The crown adds a layer of royalty and authority, hitting at inner strength and the potential for a positive change. So you know what? That means a whole lot to me right now, and it might mean a whole lot to a whole lot of you. So how fantastic. So let's try really hard to create a frog prince. Now I've just used finger sponges and I've used a couple shades of blue. Find those shades of blue. It's actually tropical green is that dark color that you see around the edge. And then I have cayman blue, a little bit of patina. I'm losing everything here. They're falling off my shelves. Actually, the deep color around the edge is deep marine and tropical green. So none of those are actually blue. They look blue, so I called them blue. So you can use a dark blue, you can do a medium blue and a light blue. It's totally up to you. I just tried to go for a bluish background, but apparently I'm using all greens. Deep marine, tropical green, patina, and a little bit of cayman blue. I will list all the paint colors in the description of the video so that you can have that to fall back on. But really, you can use whatever colors you want. Pretty easy. We're going to be using a little bit of red, 2 shades of red, some green, and the background it looks blue. But I swear to you, it's greens that I've used. I just got a couple of new colors and apparently they're not blue at all, even though I was looking for blue. So I tried to pencil on the design, but my paint is too shiny and my pencil slips. So I have to just wing it and put it on there with paint so that you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm doing a nice thick mushroom. It's got to have a nice thick base on it and room for our frog to sit on top. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm kind of using a primer or white paint to put it on here on top of that blue so that it stands out with bright colors. We're going to do the same thing with a frog. And I'm just going to wing it and imagine hands and feet, hands and toes on the mushroom. We're going to add those after. but I need the rest of his body. So I'm going to sketch that on with white paint as well. And I mean, here's where if you make a mistake, you can still fix it. So keep in mind, you can go in around the white with blue. If you make a mistake and you put white where you're not supposed to, you can fix that with your blue paint. But any mistakes you make right now are easily fixed. After, when we start putting some texture on the mushroom cap and stuff like that, and texture on the frog, we're not going to be able to fix that as easily. So try and be careful with this part here. Or try and be careful from here on out. But right now we have a pretty good shape. We can fix everything if we need to. I'm going to pencil in where I kind of want to see everything, although I am going to cover that up with paint very, very soon. I just kind of want to see where everything is going to be and go from there. So this is me sketching. I feel like he's pretty simple. Do his little ET fingers and toes. I'm not going to do like realistic stuff because that's just not me. I just do what I can. I'm winging it. But the texture we're going to put on there is going to be dots. So we're first going to start with just a plain color using sponges. And then we're going to go in with dots to add some texture to everything. So I'm going to start with a classic green, and I'm going to literally just outline everything that I want to keep in pencil. And then the rest, goodbye. We're going to say goodbye. And I'm going to go in with a little sponge. The sponges that are on sticks that you're going to see very soon, that is from Micheals, and it's Craftsmart, and they're like little wooden sponge daubers. And the sponges are not very good on them. They're not very thick and pouncy, but they do the trick when I don't have too much paint on them. So you might have to dab off some paint first before you sponge in order to get that nice airbrushed look. Always, you can't have it sloppy. There can't be a whole bunch of paint on the sponge, or it's just going to slide around. But these little sponges are not very thick, so you got to kind of learn how to work with them so that they do what you want them to do. They're a little bit frustrating though. They just need a little bit more pounce to the sponge. But they're cheap, they're fairly inexpensive, and they're the only ones that I can find with a little handle and that are smaller. Other than that, I totally stick to the finger sponges. I just absolutely love them. So I am going to quickly shut off my notifications before they come in, because sometimes I forget. And I don't want anyone to disturb us right now. So I'm filling everything in that same classic green, and I can still kind of see all my lines and stuff because I outlined it first. So now I can go in and do a couple of coats of this green and go from there. Make sure you just let things dry, let them simmer. It's really difficult to blend on top of wet paint. If you just keep adding and adding, it starts to move around and then it starts to pick up off the stone. And so yeah, just kind of let your layers dry before you go in and start working too much with it. Now I wanted a lighter green, so I'm going to use lime green. I decided it was a toss-up between citrus green and lime green, but surprisingly they're very different colors, so I stuck with the lime. I wanted to brighten him up a little bit in some areas. And of course I didn't let the other green paint dry properly, so it's giving me a hard time and picking up. Some of it's picking up, but we'll let it dry and we'll get to that after. I just wanted to let you know, first of all, we made it to 100,000. We made it. And I literally opened up my silver play button and I have a little video with me and my boys, and I'm going to post it on a different video. It's going to be one of all of its own. But there's something I want from you guys. I want to make a video that highlights you guys, because you are the ones who have stuck by me. And I know I'm told all the time in comments that I've helped you. I've taught you things. Your artwork is getting better, and you thank me for that. And that melts my heart, and that keeps me going. And that's why I do this. It's fun, and I'm teaching you something, and you're having fun, and you're proud of yourself, and you know it's like a really cool thing. So what I want to do is get you to send pictures of your artwork and stuff that I've taught you. I'd like you to send me an email and send me your artwork so that I can put your artwork in a collage video of all of your artworks, and I get to show everyone, and I get to talk about it. So if you want to do that, I'd love for you to send your pictures to rachelsrockscanada@gmail.com. That's the email address. And if you send it there, that means you're allowing me to put it on my YouTube channel and show everybody, right? So that's kind of like you agreeing to give me permission. If you send me your artwork, it's because you feel comfortable for me to like say, hey, this is my friend Lily, and she painted this, and she's a follower of my channel. And I just want to be able to show off you guys. And I'm not saying a specific Lily. I won't ever share your last names, your personal information. If you want me to just say your first name or even just your first initial, that's fine. Just leave it in the email for me. And I'm going to do like a whole video collage of all of you guys, your artwork. So if you're comfortable doing that, send the email to rachelsrockscanada@gmail.com. And I'm going to ask that you send your photos before the last day of September 2025. Just so I can fit them all in, and it wouldn't be like part 3, part 7, part 9. Although I could definitely do that. I could just keep putting videos up of your artwork. So it really doesn't matter, but submit your pictures, and I will show everyone. So I've used berry wine for the mushroom cap, camel for the stalk and the underneath of the mushroom, and then I lightened the stem of the mushroom with some white, but I wanted to keep it kind of dark underneath that camel color. That was important to keep it a little bit darker up there. So I've made sure everything is outlined in that red. And now it's going to go blurry for a minute, but don't worry, you're not really missing anything. I'm using maple brown to outline the mushroom stalk and give it some gills underneath. And I don't think it's going to get blurry from here on out, so don't worry. Everything's outlined in black as well. I'm going to be outlining the mushroom, outlining the frog. Everything will be outlined in black, but first that maple brown. And I'm giving it some texture on the stem just by kind of sweeping a thin lines of that maple brown. This is totally optional if you're not comfortable with that. Just like I'm going to be adding some bright red dots to the mushroom cap. That's also optional. You don't have to do that, but I'm going to add apple red dots right now because I like dots, and if I can incorporate dots in my paintings, I usually do. You might have learned that from me. Also, I can see the ridge of the mushroom cap top going through like the midsection of our frog because there's a ridge of paint there and it's dried that way. So you can scrape that off and redo that area if you're bothered by it. But when I add the texture to the frog, sorry, with dots, you're not going to see that ridge so much. And then when I resin it, it's really not going to be nearly as noticeable as you can see right now. So the dots are going to cover up some of that, the texture and the resin. But if you want to remove that, that's totally up to you. It's pretty easy to remove that once you've got your frog drawn, and then just kind of scrape off that ridge and start sponging in your white paint and go from there. The difficult part is outlining his little toe beans and finger beans. Looks very, very challenging, but do take your time. I've been doing this a long time, so I make it look kind of easy to some, but it's challenging. But if you make a mistake, you can go in and fix it. You can go in with red and fix it. You can go in with green and fix it. It's not a big deal. Don't stress out about those things. So he's all outlined, mostly. Now I'm working on the face. The face I'm going to try and do really simple. I think probably your most challenging part is going to be the blending and getting the light green perfect and the dark green covering properly. And, you know, that blending is sometimes challenging, but I don't want his face to be intimidating. I want it to be fairly simple. So hopefully you guys enjoy painting this one too. So I'm using one of those little sponge sticks as well as one of my little blending brushes just to get in there and make sure it's completely covered and it's not just big chunks of black paint in there. I wanted to kind of blend it out so it's nice and smooth. I'm going in with that same classic green that I did the outline originally, just for his mouth. And then a black underline underneath that green. And I'm using a dotting tool for his nostrils. They're just kind of like little slanted sesame seeds. Deep marine and classic green mixed together so that I can give some darker texture in certain areas. I'm just putting dots. And I'm just using a small dotting tool. I'm not really worried about perfect dots. I'm just trying to give him some texture to his froggy skin, if you know what I mean. I do not use technical terms here. So I'm aware that they're not toe beans. I'm aware. But that's what I shall call them. So you might have seen some, I'm using lime green, pure lime green for the lighter texture dots, as you can see. So I have to put my Etsy shop on vacation mode. Unfortunately, I just got news that there is tariffs that have been implemented and no longer can we ship to the United States, and that's where all of my customers are. The 98% of my customers are in the States, and that is my living. That is how I put food on the table. So the tariffs have temporarily cut me off of income until I figure out other options. So I don't really know what's happening right now. Apparently, if it's completely handmade goods, which this is, I paint it by hand and I sell it. Apparently, if it's completely Canadian, there might be ways around it for me. But I'm not really sure what I'm doing yet. So if you're an Etsy seller and you're in Canada and you have any information that you can help me with, please let me know in the comments. Please contact me, Rachel rachelsrockscanada@gmail.com if you have any advice or help for me. I'm not really sure what to do. It's in effect as of the 25th. I cannot ship to the States with the same provider that I've been using for the last 8 years. And there's a whole different process to it, and I have to prove things, or else I could be fined like a lot of money that I do not have and will not have ever. And I really don't know what to do. So I'm kind of uncertain and fearful at the moment. So if you go to my shop and you see that it's on vacation mode, that's why. The only income I will be making is from the ads that you guys see while you're watching my videos. And that's a very small amount. So, yeah. It's all up in the air right now, but I'm going to be making more tutorials and keeping a large amount of rocks on standby that once I do get to open my shop, there will be a lot of stuff available. So while I was gabbing, I did gold. I used a sponge and put gold circles in the eyes and then did a weird like lemon shape pupil in black. Then I did my crown in black. It's a very simple crown. Very simple. But then I outlined my crown with gold and I put gold in the dots, which I'm probably going to end up putting little crystals in later, but my son has decided he wants this rock. So I'm going to do that later. I'll put some little Swarovskis in his crown and make it shine. But for now, he's just gold. It's just a gold one. I think it looks really good though. I kind of sponged in the gold to make it kind of look airbrushed on the crown as well. And I'm making sure I have like a lemon shaped pupils. I'm outlining in gold. I'm going to put a little smidgen of white for reflection on his eyeballs. And I think he looks like a frog prince. I don't know. Let me know. You can still see that ridge, which does bother me, but it's not going to be noticeable when I resin it, so I'm okay with that. What do you guys think? Does he look like a frog prince? Does he look like he's going through a positive transformation? I think so. I have resined him. He is beautiful. Absolutely stunning. I love everything about it. And apparently Jax does too. Stay tuned. I will be showing you the play button very, very soon. And I will be back with another tutorial. Leave your ideas in the comments. You know I love you. And I want you to keep painting no matter how tough things get. I will be back very, very soon to spend quality time with you again. Bye.